Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So it's Wednesday and pretty much quiet day overall. You know, indices coming in a bit overbought. What was the oscillator, plus 50 or so? So it made sense to kind of gear away from the spiders and the Qs and all of them and look for some pockets of trading. And with that said, you can't really expect much when you see the type of moves we've seen for the past week and a half. So I'm just going to go into the charts and we'll look at the chart, not what everyone's saying, not what the TV's blasting, not what all the bears who've been getting louder and louder because they've been dead wrong for the past 2 months, but what the charts are saying right here, right now. Okay, you look at the chart of the SPX, you'll see that, or the spiders, which I have up. Now, here is the SPX. This was, your intermediate floor that held, and here is when we resumed back to the upside. So today we had a bit of a doji. We're above the 8. We're above the 21. We definitely could see some type of sideways consolidation. We could see a little bit of lower consolidation. You know, being healthy would be staying above 1902, doing some work. Look where we came from. So we'll see what happens next. Spiders, same type of thing. Here was your buy for a breakout. Here was, and then you had some follow through. Now you have a little bit of a doji. Okay, and now we're still above this gap, above the 8, above the 21 day, and maybe we go sideways and stay, real easy in there, or we break this 2-day range, we do a little RDR, or retrace a little bit. But all in all, looks pretty damn constructive on the what's it called side. Okay, every bear is still ranting and raving that they're dead right, that we're going to get a June swoon, after the sell in May and go away. But you look at technology, ever since the low here in April. Okay, you have a higher low, higher low. Here's when you broke the descending channel. Here's when you had the retest. Boom. Look what today was. Small little RDR. Will that lead to a rest? Maybe. Look at the size of the move that we had. Look where the 8 day is. Look where the 21 day is. Hard to be long, some scenarios into that, or at least with size. So here you see where this gap is. And then maybe we do a little bit of sideways action this way or a little sideways action this way. But ultimately, look at the size of the move that we've had. So it kind of frustrates the you-know-what out of me when, you have every naysayer, everyone talking how bad the rally is, how bad the volume is. Look where the rates are. Look at that. Short, 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 short. But I know for me, if I'm short for a day and I lose money, I pretty much hate the world, let alone saying be short for the last 2 months. I guess they must have unlimited supply of cash flow, or if it's been 2-3 years, then I guess they really must have deep pockets, or their pen just runs out of ink. Anyway, here we are. Let's go through some charts, because there are some things extended that could use a break, and there are some things that had some topping tails that might come in a little bit. First things first is Apple. Apple, I talked about yesterday how I was kind of done with my net long swing position, even though I went in and out a few times. And today you had your first topping tail. You want to just look at the chart of Apple and get rid of the noise. Here's your gap up. Here's when it triggered higher. Then you had a small little RDR down here. Another one here. This was a breakout move. Another nice trade on the VTF through 607. And then now you have your first topping tail. So to me, if you were trailing this from here, this one bar looks different than the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be your reason to take some off. And if you were looking for a cute short, okay, kind of like what happened here when you had your small push through failure, you had another half day of weakness and it still kind of trended lower, you could see the same thing here, especially with the 8 day all the way down here, the 21 down there, excessive bullishness now. So in my humble opinion, this is a spot to move back from Apple a little bit, and if you were trying to be a little cute short, go for it. I'd rather just get out of the way and see when we get a candle like this or a candle like that, and then I'll try and re-enter. Netflix, you look at what's going on here. This has kind of been a little bit of a leading indicator. Last week it broke out above this bull flag, went higher than everyone thought, and then ultimately all it did is really go sideways. Okay, so this is the type of market you're having where a stock like this, it goes 50 points from a buy price going sideways. Now this is letting the 8 and the 21 day catch up too. So you've been trying to be a short here. It's been hard. And you know what happened to me yesterday trying to short Tesla? All of a sudden, if you missed the short overnight and you shorted it today, look how it held in there. It's still holding in there, starting to flag again. This was a nice little bull flag we had here for higher prices. Maybe we get another one, and then I would even think about being a buyer through this if we hold here for a few more sessions. So, and let the moving averages catch up and work off this move. But ultimately, they're not letting these things fall apart yet. So keep that in mind if you're just a blind short. You go to something like Amazon, hanging around, going sideways above the 8 and 21 day. Google, I think, had its first outside day. Okay, so if you are in Google and you've been in it since either here when it broke the descending channel or here when it retested and went back to the upside, this is your first red bar, first real one where it pushed higher. I said watch out for RDRs today if you want to make adjustments. Well, here is your RDR in Google. Okay, 574. Wow, 37 from the 538. So look where the 8 is, look where the 21 days. I'm sure if it's down tomorrow, the bears will be saying, oh my goodness, look at this, da da da. Anyway, here you go. So see what happens tomorrow. If we open lower, we'll see what type of support holds, support 1, support 2, and this would be support 3 down below it. But this was your first little red bar to reduce if you were still in it, and if you were still in it, congratulations, great move. You had another little buyable area right here. I was talking about 560, it went higher than that. Things always push the envelope, and then now you have boom, boom, if that's what you want. Facebook was tried to be pretty strong all day, and I still think it's in the game. It's been on my VTF long pretty much since this day. It pushed through this resistance and gave you a trade. I think if you took some off, cool. If you didn't, it could go sideways here a little bit. Not quite a push-through failure like it's had in the past. It's a little bit above the 8 and 21 day, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully it hovers a little bit before maybe goes again. I am in the lightest of Facebook that I've had overnight in a while because it's just look at the size of the move and it's not really that pent up. I'd love to see it go sideways and then go again. Twitter, on the other hand, something different. You had your first up day, go basic studies, go volume, in some pretty significant volume. So just trying to be objective here, and I know Twitter's been a piece of you-know-what for a long period of time. This is your first green bar above a descending channel, pretty wide range, squeeze some shorts, has volume. So to me that could be a day one. I know last time I tried to do it, it was very choppy and wasn't the best. You had a day one, it tried to show some commitment, went a little bit higher and then failed. So I'm not saying this is going to be a move to Pluto, but you have a gap that can get filled. A lot of these things are going to their 21 day. And this is day one. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Not that excited. I'm not, trying to say the bull market's back on Twitter. We're just looking for things to do. Here's the volume. Sorry. And there's something to do for continuation. We shall see. The stock, has moved differently, changed character many times. And remember when you had a day one here? This was a nice one way back when. But anyway, that was then. This is now. And here you go. So let's take a close look here one more time. I am long this. You could look at my disclosures with the video. They also have, my positions at the bottom if you're not on the VTF, and I'm in this, and I'm in a little Facebook. I also today got involved in a little bit of these guys just for a trade. Recently, these day ones in these stocks have not been so good. This was a nice day one, closed pretty well, decent volume. Recently, day one got hurt. Day one got hurt. Maybe this time's a little bit different. This day one back here it's just a broken stock, but maybe maybe it continues a little bit. The whole group had a little bit of that type of action. I think there was some news that Toyota might be using some kind of fuel cell technology, so kind of giving it a lift. Some volume here, not a heck of a lot of volume, but something. This volume's not coming up real well on this. I'm sorry, but anyway, so some things to do. I'm looking for things to do. I can't be in the best of the best all the time, and the best of the best, like I just showed you with Apple and Google, at least in high beta, just kind of had its first signal to avoid it for maybe a day, maybe 3 days, who knows. Netflix still hanging around. Facebook, it needs some sideways action. Twitter different, it hasn't been involved, but that's your day one. The banks really didn't have much follow through, but I guess you could say that it held where it had to. I don't know why I was so antsy. I actually sold my Bank of America. I was thinking about buying at the end of the day. It still held this gap. I think you can have time. They're not going to run away. Another inside day or so, maybe I put some back on, and then if it clears a 200 day, I get a little bit heavier. We'll see. The banks are still not the place to be. People are still scared of the banks because of, look what's going on with these TBTs, really getting crushed. This does seem like you had some kind of capitulation type volume on this move, but so far I'd like to see a gap up, some sideways action before getting involved here, just because every time you've had these rallies, they've failed. But at this point, I wouldn't be short the TBTs anymore. And if you were long the TLTs, congratulations, you've had a really nice trend. It's a little extended from the 8 and the 21 day, but I guess you can't get too bearish on bonds until you get some kind of island top where maybe it gaps down and traps everybody here, but you cannot trade things like that based on the potential of it. Solar land, I'm in a little TSL. Not the most quality name out there, but you did have a big wide range bar and then a bull flag type of pattern here. Maybe it goes higher. FSLR is upgraded today. Still, the solar names are just really not the place to be. You could get some small trades there, but still lethargic and not clear cut. Triple D was a disaster du jour today. It's nothing you can really do about that. It's just horrendous when it happens, when you have a bean down stock. But I know it's been bean down, but it did start to act better. Wide range bar up, held inside. When anything closes on the highs, I'm sure some traders take it out long, and then all of a sudden they announce a secondary, and I think the pricing was 53 and a quarter, and they just sliced everybody through it. So if you took it home, hopefully you salvaged it, didn't sit around. And unfortunately, that's kind of like you're playing blackjack, and because that's not the greatest hand. You can't say it's an 11 versus 6, but just say you have, what's a splitting hand? Okay, just say you had a 4 and a 4 versus a 5. That's probably not a good probability hand, and then you split the 4 and the 4, and actually you wouldn't do that because maybe you get a 10. Anyway, you think you have a good hand, you pull bad cards, and then the dealer pulls fine cards, and you lose a little bit more than you should have. So just it happens in this business. And I had VJet last night, thinking that maybe it goes with the group, and it looked okay, as if you had a little bull flag here. And I just got myself out of it because, again, this is a low-quality stock, kind of like this stock I put on yesterday. It's still a low-quality name. I just know it pretty well, and every now and then when I have multiple positions, I do go to this. I've been out of this thing since it broke up here, and I think most people got out of it when it broke the 21 day after a nice move from this gap up. Did try it a few times, and there's been a little bit of bounces. Maybe this time I was thinking with social media getting a little bit more of a bounce than it has in the past. It's worth a try, and still don't think it could be a blockbuster move. But if it went back to test the 200 day, that's still a percentage gain if the market wants to hang in there, and if I want to be in multiple things, which I'm trying to be in for the past week or so. Microsoft, getting tight, right? This is pretty tight on Microsoft, holding higher. I have a little feeler on, but it's really going to have to get huge volume trade over this 40.37 for it to do anything. Intel actually did do that, so I'm just trying to think if there's any trades that could go. I don't want to lose sight of that. This was a nice one if you got involved there on the break of this descending channel to the upside. So I know different stocks, whatever, but you're talking mega cap land, and if they wanted to keep the market intact, all they have to do is kind of come after that. In conclusion, hopefully you've had a nice run. Hopefully you haven't fought it from the short side. I know it's been hard. I think right when we were here in the spiders, okay, right on this day is when every major bear came out and said we were going to break this area and go down probably 10%, maybe even 20% in the IWM, but that happened. Okay, so hopefully you didn't just roll them up, because it's hard to hold on to these things if you roll them up. And for us, they had some nice moves in high beta land, and you might not have taken everything out of them, but if you took a nice trade, good. Next time, maybe take a little bit more. If you didn't have as many shares as you thought you wanted, okay, next time, take a few more shares. If you sold too early, you figure out why. And if you actually shorted a little early because you felt like you sold your long too early, change that too. These little cycles are going to happen over and over and over again. So what you have to do is figure out what you did good, what you did wrong, and make sure next time this type of scenario rolls around again, you maximize it a little bit better. And the next time we get hit again, which could happen, and we break the 8, we break the 21 day and things slice, you honor your stops, you get out of the way, and maybe look for continuation shorts. At this point, we're back in neutral land where a little sideways action would be good. There's still good specific trades out there. Just the question is, what type of digestion do we have? Is it fast and furious? Is it sideways? Is it a little bit down? And we'll soon find out. So be small, be flexible, and keep moving those feet. Have a good night.